Greetings, folks. For Ag and Natural Resources Marketing, I'm David Ammon, and you're watching Renew, the show about the amazing students, faculty, and staff of the College of Forest Resources. Today, we're joined by Dr. Ram Adhikari. Dr. Adhikari is an assistant forestry professor and scientist in the Forest and Wildlife Research Center. Dr. Adhikari, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Absolutely. First off, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your academic endeavors, scientific endeavors. They've taken you all over the world: Nepal, Munich, New Mexico, Mississippi State. What brought you to Mississippi State?
So thank you for this opportunity about introducing myself. So my name is Ram. So I'm originally from Nepal. I had bachelor's of degree from Nepal, was in forestry.
Sure.
And then after that, I went to the Technical University of Munich, Germany, where I focused mostly on sustainable resource management.
Okay.
And then after that, I came to the Mississippi to study about forest resources. So actually, my PhD is from here, so
Sure.
from Mississippi State University. And then after completing the PhD from this university, I went to initially actually for a few months in the South Dakota State University, and then after I went to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, where I did my postdoc most of 2 years time, and then I moved to the New Mexico, where I was a assistant professor of forestry, where I mostly focused on the teaching, but besides the teaching, I also engaged in the some research activities, and then afterwards, I have some experience in the teaching. I have a lot of experience in the research,
Sure.
which helped me to come to this very nice. In terms of the research, it's R1 University that bring me here on this university. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
In New Mexico, you did some research on biochar, correct?
Right.
Why don't we talk about that for the viewers aren't familiar? What is biochar and why does it matter?
Yeah, biochar is a biomass that you burn in a low oxygen environment.
Okay.
So after burning that biomass, wood biomass, let's say in my case, if you burn in that low oxygen environment, it becomes a useful product where we can use those product in a number of applications. There are a number of uses of this product. So for example, you can use in soil amendment, you can use in, there are odor control in poultry farming, so some smells that can help you control, and also water treatments. If you have a problem with the municipality sewage or something, a lot of polluted water, then we can use those biochar to make a water nice, clean.
Right.
So that's another applications. Also nowadays, a lot of people are also using for urban landscapings.
Sure.
In that case also. So a lot of application it has, that's why this is an important product. Why I did this research in New Mexico, particularly in New Mexico, which is the same case for every other states in the U.S. where you have a lot of forests. So in New Mexico, the problem was a lot of wildfire as the big problem there. So. If our forest is dense, then it becomes more fire hazard, right? So wildfire is more likely to burn those forests. So what they have to do to minimize those dense forest, those a lot of trees, lops, and tops, they have to do a regularly thin the forest.
Sure.
And so to thin the forest, so after you thinning the forest, that will also produce further slashes, and if you do not use those slashes, then that will create another fire hazards. And what do you do that with that fire hazard? Then some people or the idea is let's use that for a biochar, so that there will be less fire hazards, a clean forest, so that the forest will be healthy, and the product that we get it from the forest also is useful application. So that's the main motivations. Going to that part, to that aspect of the research.
It's a very, very versatile product, that biochar. Your research connects biochar to wildfire prevention, as you said, and rural jobs. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so biochar needs biomass, a lot of biomass, right? There are different types of plants that you can establish. Small size, medium size, and centralized kind of big plants you can establish. Depends on the biomass availability. So if you have a lot of biomass, that means people can engage, rural people or local people can engage in the thinning and then also the chippings, and then based on the thinning and chipping, that creates a lot of jobs. So thinning in New Mexico case, if you look at the New Mexico's case, I think it's $1 billion project. It's not it's not a million even. A lot of money is federal government, state agencies are investing for thinnings, and then. If you are using for biochar, then another job opportunity is chipping and transportation of those products. That also creates the local job opportunity for local people. And then in the biomass plant itself, also it's not very, I would say labor intensive, but it's still some people can get the job in that biochar plants. That's why it also helps local people to get the job.
Right. You mentioned some dollar amounts. Let's talk more about the dollar amounts. How can it help the rural communities and our timber economy, or the timber economy in New Mexico?
Yeah, it helps in New Mexico. It helps wherever you have the trees. So when you invest something, it has impact, right? It has direct impact in the economy, it had indirect impact in the economy, it has induced impact in the economy. So there are three types of impact. So if you got money from some outside sources, either selling the biochar product or from a loan or subsidy, if you got that money for the thinning or for chipping or for productions, that means there will be a lot of economic activity around that area, around that part. So, and because of those things, so that will help at three different ways. So direct impact means create jobs, use of the resources that have locally kind of throwing out, and then indirect means because of the people's movement and companies' movement around that area, so you will have maybe a better restaurant, you will have better lodges, or some other indirect implications, right? So that's the how it will affect the economy.
Sure. Yeah. What hurdles are out there? What regulatory or policy challenges need to be addressed before states like Mississippi can fully explore this opportunity?
The main, based on my research, the main things is still the cost. So cost of producing the biochar is not affordable to the people. I mean, particularly the farmers that can use for soil amendment or increase the productivity. That's the main challenge here. So if we do not get some kind of subsidy from, say, federal government or state agencies, government are providing subsidy for thinnings, for other type of activities. If they do not get kind of subsidies, because it's a good product that store the carbon under the soils for a long period of time. So if we get some kind of subsidy from conservation programs or from cost share programs, then that will make it cheaper, and then that will make more affordable to the people. So one challenge is there. So that's how we have to think. Policymakers has to think about that. And another challenge, what I see, it's another. We are thinking to do a research on those things. So the large landowners or farmers who are cultivating large-scale row crops in Mississippi or somewhere else, they outright reject using the biochars. And why? Because they think that when you put the prices, the cost of production inputs are already increasing. They do not have a lot of profit margin in their crop productions. Now, if they increase the cost, they need more output, right? More yield, crop yield. But the biochar may not substantially increase their crop yield in short run. Yeah, of course, it will generate the productivity in the long run, but in short run, they will not get a lot of money because of using the biochar. That's why they don't use it, probably we have to do a extension or some things so that we can convince them that it's a long-term
Yeah, you gotta
business.
stick it
So
out.
yeah, let's take it. It's a long-term business. Maybe in this aspect, I also see a lot of research are more focused on the short run, just one-time research, and they think that the yield is not substantially high, maybe a little bit more, but not substantially high.
Sure.
But the research also has to focus for long-term, not for 1 year research,
Absolutely.
but maybe 10 years long research on the impact of biochar. Then that might help to convince the farmers to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Could Mississippi's forest products industry tap into biochar, or are we already set up to make that happen? Is the infrastructure laid out?
Yeah, here as a started, the Mississippi has a lot of forest. Unlike, let's say, look at the New Mexico, they have also around 21% forest, and most of the forests are kind of woodlands. You will not see large timbers.
Right.
But here in Mississippi, 65%, almost 60 to 65% area is covered by forest.
Right.
And we have most of the forests are woodlands, so very productive forest. We have a lot of biomass. And so since there is less, we see now less because of some reasons, maybe trade-related issues or some other cost-related issues. Sawmills are not going to increasing their products, or even they are even closing in some cases. So that's why we have a lot of biomass available, and we need now, what we are doing from a research perspective, we are looking alternative products, so that, let's say, pellet, biochars, or just simple chips. So we are looking those alternative products, and here is a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of biomass here. Yeah.
Right. Very cool. What could or what should local leaders or policymakers do if they want to explore this further?
So two things as mentioned before. Try to minimize the cost, find some ways to compensate the companies that they are producing those things.
Right.
I mean, maybe for large landowners who have a forest or something, they even can establish a portable type of biochar plants and use it. So that's also a possibility. That may be more cheaper for them. But if you want to go to the medium or large size, we need some type of the cost subsidy, or some type of subsidy. I know recently also the some cost share programs is trying to give some subsidy for thinnings. Maybe if we get some subsidy, if you get the subsidy for thinning, then why not for shipping? So if you get subsidy for thinning and shipping, probably that's a best for the biochars.
Right.
Another thing is, we need a lot of extension. The importance of biomass to the landowners or cropland owners. They are the main users of this product. So if we do some motivation, do some very important research impact of the biochars, and if we do the outreach or extension activities about the importance of biochar, probably then they will start to apply in their field.
I see. Well, Dr. Adhikari, thank you very much for your time. We certainly appreciate you being here. And thank you for tuning in to this episode of Renew. If you'd like to check out previous episodes, you can go to cfr.msstate.edu, and the rest of our socials are on there as well, or you can find us on YouTube at CFR Vids. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.